that you're mine, and I ain't never letting you go. You baby, baby, you got me up in my mind. And I don't wanna say, but I would've died if you left me inside. So let it be the same. Let it be me and you in this game. You baby, right? You got me up in my mind.
Greetings and salutations, messages, and welcome all the way in Switzerland. And you're tuning into the Black House Fire Radio, and you're listening to the African Diary Show with Cathy. That's
it. Baby, you should know that I'm your one. Like if you can't wish you, then I would rather rain. So hata wakihepa kweli, they should know that you're mine. That you're mine, that you're mine. And I ain't never letting you go. Baby, you should know that you're my life. Like if you can't wish you, then I'll be by your side. So hata wakihepa kweli, they should know you're my wife. That you're mine, that you're mine. And I ain't never letting you go. You baby, you got me up in my mind. And I don't wanna say, but I would've died if you left me inside. So let it be the same, let it be me and you in this game. You baby, you got me up in my mind. Nitakupenda wewe, in everywhere, where. Atakija shida wewe, nitakupenda wewe, nitakupenda wewe, in every single way. Atakija shida wewe, nitakupenda wewe. Baby, you should know that you make me blind. In every single way, you're my ride or die. Now they freaking wish you, but don't go nowhere. And for better and for worse, I will always be yours. Baby, you should know that you make me shine. In many little ways, you make me smile. Now they freaking wish you, but don't go nowhere. And for better and for worse, I will always be yours. You baby, you got me up in my mind. And I don't wanna say, but I would've died if you left me aside. So let it be the same, let it be me and you in this game. You baby, you got me up in my mind. Nitakupenda wewe. atakija shida wewe, nitakupenda wewe, nitakupenda wewe, nitakupenda wewe, in every single way. Atakija shida wewe, atakija shida wewe. Yes, welcome and welcome once again. My name is Katie, and of course, this is the African Diary Show. That was Ivia, and the jam is Nitakupenda. Karibuni sana to all those who are just joining us. Karibu sana. Tuni, I see you in the building. Keep Langat a wrapped way. I see you in the building. Karibu sana, and thank you very much for tapping the screen. Bianca D, I see you as well in the building. Karibu sana, and thank you very much for joining us on today's episode of the African Diary Show. And in case you're joining us for the first time, kindly consider following the host. And this is the Blackout Fire Network, of course. And the African Diary Show is a show all about African content. On today's episode, we shall be talking about different matters that are happening right here in the 254, that are happening right here in our beautiful continent, Africa. And we shall be seeing what is happening with Africa. But anyway, karibuni sana once again, and remember to keep it interactive with me right here. And remember to keep on telling me, where are you listening to us from? Is your place cold like here? And also, how is the weather on your side? It is exactly 2:16 p.m. right here in the 254, or 17. Actually, it is 17 minutes past 2 p.m. right here in the 254. You can as well let me know what is the time on your end as we get started with our conversation of the day. And some of the things we're going to discuss on today's episode, there's a Convene that has been formed, or rather that is going to happen in Kenya to hammer out treaty on plastic pollution. And if you go out, I know so many of you have been going out, and you have seen these dumping sites that we have in the 254. And you know, these places, they don't look good at all. And leave alone Kenya, let's talk about South Africa. Have you seen the dumping sites in South Africa leading to air pollution, environmental pollution, and even soil pollution? Have you seen this? Even water pollution. But anyway, I shall be sharing different videos to show you what I'm talking about in terms of pollution, or plastic pollution. And then we shall later get to see what is this convenement, or rather Convene, in Kenya, and what is it all about. But I saw it is a UN concern, and of course, we know the drill, we know how it goes, but anyway, we shall be getting to talk about that and much, much more. So keep it interactive. Karibuni once again. I see we have people joining me on Facebook. Karibu sana. I see people on Facebook, and to all those who are just joining us on TikTok and on Twitter, welcome once again. To all those who are listening to me via the radio station, you can as well pin your chat on the show page, or rather the comment section on the live stream, and you get to tell me what's popping with you. How are you doing today? What's your contribution towards our conversation on today's show? We are going back to one more jam, still done by Ivia, and this is Watoto wa Kiafrika. Get to jam onto it, and remember to come back with your quote of the day.
It's like you,
Watoto wa Kiafrika hakika wameumbika. Watoto wa Kiafrika wamesifika. Thank God for the blessing. Fighting, shout out to the women out there. The way you be dressing, finesse, blessing out there. Thank God for the blessing, fighting, shout out to the women out there. The way you be dressing, flexing, finessing, woman, you a beauty out there. Napenda ulivyojipa, napenda when you smile, girl, napenda hear your figure. Napenda when you say my name, say Via. Napenda all the ladies out there, you the thriller. Look at you, you super too. Umeumba umbika, unatesa tu. Look at you, sura tu. Ingefanya watu wanataka huhu. Mnabamba planting. Shout out to the women out there. The way you be dressing, finessing, flexing, woman you pressing out there. Thank God for the blessing, planting, planting. Shout out to the women out there. The way you be dressing, flexing, finessing, woman you a beauty out there. New girl. Remember fine, when we get to the girl. African child, black, you're a beauty girl. You're fine, I'm a city girl. Mtoto mrembo, kwanza mrembo sana. Rangi ni ya thao, rangi inakufanana. Umejibamba, ona kaka sichana. Kana tuchanganya. Sisi vijana, ulikuwa mchanga. Kachweka dogo kila msani kuna kuita kama mimi. Saiwe ni mama, unajua.
My quote of the day says, if you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. If you change the way you look at things, the way or the things you look at also change.
New girl. Remember fine, when we get to the girl. African child, black, you're a beauty girl. You're fine, I'm a city girl. Mtoto mrembo, kwanza mrembo sana. Rangi ni ya thao, rangi inakufanana. Umejibamba, ona kaka sichana. Kana tuchanganya. Sisi vijana, ulikuwa
Yes, welcome back. That is via the jam is watoto wa Kiafrika. I hope you did get to jam and to eat. As we're getting started, I see Tash Madola in the building, Anasema and your Kudonjo. Yes, karibu sana and thank you very much. I see Brian in the building, Frida's Media C, na kucheki tena sana. Grison, I see you in the building, karibu sana. Ken Ian, I see you as well. Sad, I see you, karibu sana. Please make sure you're interacting with me. Tap the screen as well and talk to me as well. So as we get started with our conversation of the day, yesterday was a National Planting Trees Day, or was a Tree Planting National Day right here in the 254. It was a public holiday, and I've seen so many people coming to say that yes, the government used so much money to now for this holiday. And also I'm seeing a lot of people coming and saying that this holiday should be renamed after Wangari Maathai. And we all know Wangari Maathai, who she was. She was an environmentalist who was fighting for the life of our nature or for the life of our environment. So I think it's right if we rename the holiday, if the holiday is now publicly known on the public calendar, that's now this is a public holiday. It will be happening on 13th of November. I think it should be renamed after Wangari Maathai, because we saw the struggles that she went through trying to make our environment great, and also in planting trees. We even remember her for what she did to us, or for what she did for the country. So in case now we are going to mark this as a public holiday in our national calendars, I think we should rename this holiday as a Wangari Maathai as a day. But anyway, I see Malero is asking, is Shmani okay? Shmani is okay. Why are you asking? Shmani is okay. Yes, and I hope she's smiling where she is. I hope she's smiling, because there are people who are... Malelu, by the way, was asking for Shmani yesterday as well. And you're saying you're not seeing her. This is my show. This is the African Diary show. This is not the time for Vibe Show. Vibe Show is from 8 a.m. to 12 noon. So this is my time. This is my time of the African Diary show. But anyway, you are going to see Shmani later if you join us on the Word of the Street. But anyway, going back to what I was talking about. I was talking about the government overspending on tree planting day. And, so many people have come to talk about this, and they felt like this was so... It didn't make sense. It was so stupid of the government using the whole day for tree planting. And seen so many people saying that. I've seen Wangari Maathai's daughter saying that also they should be marked annually, of which is very okay. But do you think that now we still have more days to be wasting a whole day just to go and plant trees? For me, it doesn't make sense. And I keep on saying, tree planting does not take you the whole day. It doesn't take you. The activity literally takes you 10 minutes. It's enough. 10 minutes doesn't require me to be out of my work for the whole day just to go and plant a tree. But anyway, shout out to all those who are joining me and keep on letting me know. Do you think that now the tree planting day should be renamed after the renowned Wangari Maathai, who was an environmentalist? Do you think that it should be named as Wangari Maathai Day? Yeah, actually, that is the name, Wangari Maathai's Day. Yeah, we shall be celebrating her in the tree planting day. Somebody say that's sorry for trees. I remember that's sorry for miti, for kupanda miti. But anyway, as we get to continue with our news and updates, let's get somewhere else. This is about what is happening in okay, let me get this straight. This is what is happening in South Africa. In South Africa, we have police who have arrested 3 for child pornography and bestiality. And this is so bad that is happening. Imagine, they have been arrested in South Africa for child pornography and bestiality. And South African Police Service says it's arrested 3 men accused of sexually abusing 3 children and a dog in operation conducted with the aid of the U.S. Department of Homeland Security last week. As a result of these operations, 3 South African children were used during the commission of the above offenses, were identified, and a dog was saved. The police said in a statement on Tuesday. The suspects include a 63-year-old British citizen. Of course, it had to be a British citizen who was in the country illegally. Police says he will be charged with bestiality, child grooming, and several counts related to child pornography, including manufacturing and distributing child pornography. This is so bad. It is so bad, and I bet these child pornography sites are not in Africa. We don't have markets for child pornography in Africa, or in case we do have one, I've never seen this, and I've never heard somebody talking about child pornography in Africa. So these people are literally coming to Africa, using our children or using African children, and they sell their tapes in their countries, because this is not happening in Africa. I've never come across where you're seeing a child's tape. I have never. But, maybe we have those sites that are still selling those. And, it's a business. It is a business. So these people, they come, use our African children, and then they go back to their countries. They sell a very bad image of African people. Now they would say, you see what African children do? It is not us. These people, they abducted those children. They forced them to do such acts with even dogs. This is so sad. And then they sell the tapes. And we have people who are watching those tapes because they wouldn't sell the films without people buying. It doesn't make sense for me that now we have markets for such things. And I know these markets are not in Africa. Yeah, these markets are not in Africa. But anyway, guys, do let me know what you think about this as I continue reading you this article. And the second and third suspects, both 43-year-old South Africans, will also be charged on several counts of child pornography. Police added that the suspects appeared in court today, but their case was postponed for further investigations and bail applications. Police say the operation to unravel a network of child sexual predator is still underway. So this is something that is happening in South Africa. And you see what these people bring to our countries. Do you see now the effect of the westernization? Do you see the effect of having having the worst people in our countries. Can you imagine? This is something they have been doing. It's not something that they have not been doing. It's something they have been practicing, and this is why they felt so right. We can do this with African children. You know, the way they consider us and the way they look at us, they know that it is very right to put an African child, let them do all type of madness. You know, it is so bad, and I hope those men will rot in prison. But you know, something very bad about Africa, I said we don't have justice systems that work for us. Yes, these people will be charged with the child pornography and bestiality and everything. But do you think that these people will be charged in Africa? Of course, they will be deported back to their countries so that they get charges in their countries. But do you think that in their countries they will be charged? No, they won't. They won't. They will be let to walk scot-free. They have abused, assaulted those children sexually, and after that, they are going to walk scot-free. And this is why I keep on saying, when people are caught doing such acts, why do you let them walk? Why do you allow them to get in the hands of the police? Why don't you just act? You know, why don't you just act? It is so sad. It is a very, very sad story to start our show with. But I feel, you know, the people I even feel sad for is the children. It is the children. Shout out to Samuel, you're saying, what films we talking, Katie? I'm talking about some 3 men in South Africa who are arrested. Okay, let me just read you the article again. South African Police Service says it arrested 3 men accused of sexually abusing 3 children and a dog in an operation conducted with the aid of the U.S. Department of Homeland Security last week. As a result, these operations, 3 South African children who were used under the commission of the above offenses were identified and the dog was saved. Yeah, that is what I'm talking about, Samuel. I hope you have gotten the context of my talk. And yeah, I'm talking about men being charged of bestiality and child pornography. And I'm saying these are provided, or just because there's a white man there's a British, he's actually 63. This is how these people make easy money. 63, he's very old. He's in Africa illegally and now using children. Can you imagine what these 3 children or these children were going through? Oh my God, it is so disgusting to even think about it. And even the films, I'm talking about the films. In Africa, we don't have markets for such films. So it means that these people, they come to Africa, they record the films and they sell them. They sell them after. Now they sell them to their countries or to their country people after they have recorded them in Africa with African children. It is so bad and disgusting. And I hope, I hope we will once get a justice system that works for us as African, because we have justice systems that are not working in any way. In any way. Our justice systems never works for us. They don't work for us in any way. But anyway, someone is saying, I started too after listening. And also you're saying, always messes up the children in some way. It always does. Not even in some way, in every way. It destroys the mind of the brain. It stresses the child, depresses the child, and so, to a point that this child would get to a point that now they want to commit suicide because of whatever they went through, the trauma. These children will grow traumatized. Can you imagine? These children might have been taken or might have been abducted, and then they will have to grow with all this trauma. It is so sad. And I'm hoping that one day we shall get a justice system that works for us. But also, I keep on wondering, as Africans, some things are too, You know, these things are too hard to forgive. You cannot forgive such a person. Why do we allow them to get in the hands of the police before we deal with them? And sometimes, mob justice in all ways, that is the true democracy. Mob justice is always the true democracy for Africans, because we don't have democracy in Africa. We don't exercise democracy. So I think in Africa, the only way we can talk about true democracy, it is about mob justice. I'm not talking about, or I'm not encouraging violence, but at some point, when it gets to a point that now you need to deal with some people, there's need to deal with such people. Yeah, there is need to. We cannot allow these people come to destroy our children all the time, and then we let them to the police all the time. And we know when they get to the hands of the police, they get deported, and the country tells you they are going to be punished in their own countries, and of which that will never happen. It is so sad. So sad. But away from that, moving on to another depressing topic, this is about Nigeria. In Nigeria, we have unions calling for nationwide strikes. But Tinubu, we saw Tinubu, it was only this week, or was it? Yeah, it was yesterday, Joby telling me that he succeeded to get the yacht and the bulletproof cars for his wife. But right now, we have civilians in the country going through, yesterday we were talking about how they are using laughing gas to cure their stress, to forget about what is happening in their country. But right now, they are at a point that now the laughing gas is not even helping them. They want a nationwide strike. Nigeria's two biggest labor unions have asked their members to go on strike and stay at home from Tuesday as they embark on indefinite nationwide strike. This is despite a court order barring them from doing so. The Nigerian Labour Congress and the Trade Union Congress are protesting against the rising cost of living and the hike in fuel prices. They have been pushing President Bola Tinubu to reverse the scrapping of the popular decades-old petrol subsidy that had kept fuel prices low, but which the government said was draining its finances. It said that the money saved would be used for social projects. The unions want the government to increase the minimum monthly wage to at least $120 from about $36 of some of anti-people economic policies. The strike will remain until the government at all levels wake up to their responsibilities. TUC President Festus Osifu said in a statement. It comes day after an industrial court in the capital Abuja placed a restraining order theoretically preventing the unions from going on strike. It is unclear how long the strike will last this time, but it is expected to affect major services in hospitals, railway stations, and schools in Africa's biggest economy. The union have threatened to go on strike at least thrice since President Tinubu came to office in May. They quickly suspended a strike last month pending discussions with the government following a meeting with the president on the first day of the strike. They say the government failed to meet their demands within 1 month deadline they gave. It is so sad that this is what happening in all African countries. This happens in all African countries. Even right now, we have anxious Kenyans as they await EPRA to announce new fuel prices. Yes, Kenyans are right now anxious, waiting for the EPRA to release new fuel prices. So we are all the same. We are suffering the same. From Nigeria, from Uganda, from Tanzania, from Kenya, we are all suffering the same as Africans. And it is so bad that we cannot deal with this as Africans. imagine, right now we are talking about a strike. Yes, a nationwide strike that is going to affect the whole country. And when the whole country goes on a strike, it means that the economy will also be affected. The few days people goes on these strikes, it means that they are getting an effect or they are affecting their economy. So I think we all have to unite as Africans and deal with our problems together, because we are going through the same shit. We are suffering the same. You see the same problem you're experiencing right here in Kenya? It is the same problem somebody in Nigeria is suffering from. And imagine, we're talking about fuel prices. And we're talking about fuel in Nigeria going high. And the people of Nigeria, all the civilians, are requesting the government to return the subsidies that was scrapped. But Nigeria is one of the largest oil producers in Africa. So what is happening? What is really happening? You know, hey, even if you're a puppet, can you just become a puppet who thinks at least about his people? Even for a minute. You know, these people are suffering. In Nigeria is where we have a floating village. We have a floating village where people have to swim in sewer lines and sewages to get to where they are going. In that village, they don't even have a school. In that village, they don't have clean water to drink. Can you imagine the same problems? Now, in that village, can you think about our main focus of the day, or in that country, can you think about the plastic pollution in Nigeria? You don't even want to think about that. Well, this is a problem affecting all African countries. Yeah, it is affecting all African countries. But I see someone is saying, they do grow that way, Katie, and it never goes away. Of course, that thing will never go away. If the child is destroyed and that they are traumatized, that thing will never go away. They grow with the trauma. It is so bad, so bad. But I'm hoping something will be done at the end of the day. I'm hoping those men will rot in prison. But anyway, back to the story I'm talking about. I'm talking about Nigerians going on a national-wide strike. And it was last weekend that we had Tinubu acquiring a private yacht for himself. And he said it's for his security. And he actually came and said that our president's security should not be questioned by the civilians. That is compulsory. It is compulsory. The president's security should not be questioned by civilians. It is compulsory. Okay, we don't decline. We're not questioning your security and everything. But how is a yacht safe for you, Mr. Tinubu? How is it? How is it? I still don't understand. I don't understand. But anyway, now I think what needs to be done in Nigeria, because the same thing, we talk about strikes in Kenya, and we all know what happens in Kenya. When people call for a strike, we'll have teachers demonstrating, we'll have people on the streets, and after that, the government will try calm them down and tell them we will get into talks, we will come into agreement, and we will take care of what you want. And after a few months, you hear the same teachers are back on the streets. The same protesters we had last month but one are back in the streets, because they don't even listen to you. They don't have time for you. You can demonstrate as long as you want, but they don't have time for you. So I think the only way right now in Africa is to go the Sri Lanka way. That is the only way. I think that is the Hi General Mosquito. That is the only solution we're left with as Africans. Why can't we go the Sri Lanka way? Why can't we go the Sri Lanka way? Because I feel like, hey, this is becoming too much. We are complaining here and there. You know, everybody is complaining in Africa. Fuel prices. it's better for Tanzanians that the fuel prices are going low, but that doesn't mean that the price is not high. But the prices are going low. They are decreasing, but that doesn't mean that now it is affordable. It is still expensive for the people. So we are complaining about the same problems. We are suffering the same problems in Nigeria, in Cameroon, in Congo. And hey, we're not suffering the same. I've forgotten about Congo and what is happening. Hey, the people of Congo are not suffering the same as us. Those people are suffering completely. There's a silent genocide that is happening in Congo and nobody's talking about this. And this pains me all time to see that, in the same South Africa, or in the same South Africa I'm going to talk about, or in the same South Africa I talked about as we were starting our show, I saw we have protesters who are protesting about the Palestinian and Israel war. And yet, these people have not even shown any support for the Congolese. These people in Congo, they are suffering. These people are being killed internally. Wow, I don't know what is happening in Congo, but whatever is happening, it's a silent genocide. It's a silent genocide. A very sensitive thing, and by the time we're going to start talking about this, and by the time everybody is noticing, all these people will be wiped out. Can you imagine in Congo, we have more than 3,000 people dying every day just because of what is happening. Now tell me, in the coming few years, how many Congolese will we have left? How many? Shout out to Simon Wamukota. Thank you very much for tapping the screen, and thank you very much for joining us. Shout out to Feloza, Adopter, and Asante Sana as well for joining us. So, someone is saying, got to figure out how to run cars of Ugali. Oh my God. Cars of Ugali. Where did you hear that? But anyway, someone I've seen right now, people are turning in the gasway, and once the country, or once these puppet leaders notice that we are turning to gas, they will now start charging it expensive as well. We have cars right now, we have cars being ran by gas, but it's not safe. The safety is not guaranteed because the gas, it's just like the gas we cook with, and it's not safe. But somebody is saying, yeah, the Congolese are fleeing. Yes, last month we were talking about 7 million people fleeing, internally displaced in Congo. Now talk about the externally displaced. Talk about the ones that have died. It is so bad, and it is so sad to see this, and to be, talking about such things. It is so bad to be talking about this and seeing people dying right, left, and center, and also nobody's talking about this. But when it comes to external walls, and external walls that are not even concerning us, we are ready to fight them. Anyway, today I have depressing stories that are not good, and they are depressing, but I have to read them out. We have 16 migrants. We have 16 bodies of migrants that have been found in Mauritanian coast. And I bet these are African people from West Africa. They probably might come from Nigeria, probably from, where else? Morocco. Because we know these people are the same people who always want to run out of their country. But I don't blame them sometimes, but also sometimes I get to blame them. Anyway, the authorities in Mauritania say the bodies of 16 people thought to be migrants have been found on the country's northern east. Karibu sana, Richie Spice, and thank you very much for joining us. And the discovery on the beaches of La Guaira comes a week after 13 corpses were found in the boats in the same area near the city of Nodibu. And this later latest incident appears to have happened after their boat hit some rocks. Recently, there has been a sharp increase in the number of people setting off from neighboring Senegal in a bid to reach Spain's Canary Islands. Since January, more than 23,000 people have arrived there by boats. This is so sad because now we have people risking their lives because of the cost of living. It is always the cost of living in their countries. The lifestyle is so expensive and they cannot afford it, and now they want to flee their countries. And sometimes it's not safe for them. By the time they are getting to where they are getting in corpses. Some of their bodies will never be recovered. Some of them are being killed. Yes, some of them are being killed. And yeah, they encounter a lot of hostilities on their way. But African people, okay, sometimes I want to blame people for fleeing, but now look at what is happening in Congo. You will not wait to be killed. Look at what is happening in Sudan. You will not wait for these terrorists to come and kill you. You have to flee. You have to save your life. You have to run for your life. So it's not really right to be blaming these people, but at some point, if your country is not in war, if your village is not in war, why are you fleeing? Why are you fleeing? Why can't you find a way to survive in your country? Because where you're going at is where you're not needed. You know these people don't love you, but you want to risk your ass and take it there. You know, it is so sad seeing bodies being recovered in a place where they cannot even be identified. So these bodies will never be identified. But now, what will happen to them? They will just be left there to be eaten by sharks, by wild animals, because the place they have been discovered, most of the people or most of the inhabitants over there, they are not even African, so they don't care about that. But anyway, African people, I keep on telling you, this is not the time to run from our countries. But, you know, in case you need to run for your life, sometimes it is advisable, just run for your life. Like in Congo, the situation in Congo, you cannot wait there to be killed. You cannot risk your life. Good morning to you too, kid. You cannot wait there for you to be killed. In Sudan as well, you cannot wait there to be killed. You have to run for your life. But apart from that, in case there is no war, there is no violence in your country, you have no excuse to run. I know the economy is tough. It is tough everywhere in Africa. It is tough everywhere globally. So in case you're thinking you're running or you're going to get greener pastures where you're going, those are the most driest places. But anyway, let's get to the main focus of the day. And before we even get there, I have a video to show you. But before I even share the video, let me hint a little bit of what we're talking about. We are talking about plastic pollution. And okay, the topic is about Kenya, but this is not only in Kenya. Look at a place like Nigeria. Plastic pollution in Nigeria. Look at a place like South Africa. Okay, forget about that. Look at our city right here in the capital city in Kenya. Look at the city itself. We have dumping sites in Dandora. We have in industrial, and this is in the city. Don't forget, it is in the city, the capital city. It is so bad, so bad. But anyway, nations convene in Kenya to hammer out treaty on plastic pollution. I remember it was in I'm not sure about the year, but there was the government said you are no longer allowed to use plastic bags in the country. And it stopped for some days. And if you were arrested carrying a plastic bag, you had to pay a fine. But that didn't go for long. People still up to date, they use the plastic bags. But delegates in Nairobi mulling two options, a wide-ranging strategy that would target plastic production or a limited approach focused on waste management. What do you think will work? I think the only way that will work, because we tried to stop the plastic production and the use of plastic bags in Kenya. I think the only thing will work is now to completely stop the production. Stop the production, because when the product is not there, there's no consumption. So if the more we have production, the more the consumption is there. Just stop the production. Because we have, let me show you, let me share my screen right here real quick so that you get to understand what I'm talking about. And I'll not only share about Kenya, because this is happening everywhere in Africa. The plastic bags, plastic pollution is everywhere in Africa. It is not only in Kenya. It is not only in South Africa. It is everywhere in Africa. Go to Sudan, go to Uganda, go to some places in Tanzania, go to Kenya. You'll find these litterings everywhere, the dumping sites everywhere. And the saddest part is that in Kenya, it is in the city. They are not even hiding it. But anyway. I'm waiting for my screen to load so that I share. Okay. This thing of plastic pollution is everywhere in Africa. Okay, I have my screen over there. So
sifting through mountains of garbage isn't a clean or safe way to make a living. But if Hannah Gitonga collects enough clear plastics, she can make about $4 on a good day.
We are not employed by anyone. We are here because they are the ones who make money out of it.
She's among hundreds of people who work at this dump in Kenya's capital, Nairobi. They're part of a small recycling industry which struggles to cope with the piles of waste that grow with the economy. Whatever can be recycled is separated and bagged up, ready to be taken away. Organic matter eventually decomposes, and then if you look closely at what's left, it's just pose. And environmentalists say Kenya's plastics problem is about to get much worse because of a free trade deal that the government is negotiating with the US. Many of America's largest oil and chemical companies who profit from plastics are represented by a lobby group called the American Chemistry Council. It wrote to US government trade officials suggesting that Kenya could serve as a hub for US-made plastics in Africa, enabled through the Kenya-US trade deal.
Imagine this.
Kenya's environmentalists are alarmed.
Can you imagine we are being used to make plastics for them? Sad.
James Wakibia is one of them. He started a campaign. He says America's plastics industry wants to increase its trade here and the dumping of American plastic waste.
America is known to twist small nations into accepting trade deals that will be good for its side, but not for other countries. So I'm twisting small nations like Kenya into accepting such an evil trade deal. We mean that we are going to reverse the gains we have made so far.
Some gains are already being reversed. For generations, soft drinks here have been sold in glass bottles, which are returned and refilled. But plastic is taking over. It's more profitable for plastic manufacturers and more waste for the dump. The American Chemistry Council says it's not seeking to override Kenya's existing regulation of plastics, and Kenya's trade minister has denied that any such proposal is on the table. The environmentalists are skeptical, but say President Joe Biden now has a chance to change the direction of negotiations.
The Biden administration should not allow the advisory from the American Chemistry Council to include a clause or a text that will allow Africa to be used as a dump site for the plastic pollution that will be coming from them.
Kenya is already struggling to deal with its own. Environmentalists say more plastics and more dumping
Look
would
at
be
that.
disastrous. Malcolm Webb, Al Jazeera,
It is
Nairobi.
so bad, so bad to be seeing this, that even the US is using us as a dumping site, and the country is just allowing this. I see kid is saying, God damn, look at that shit, it's crazy. Bad African governance. Can you imagine? And do you know that is in the city? You saw that stream that you are seeing there. That is the famous Nairobi River. Yes. That is in the city. But you're saying making Africa a dumping site because the African man is a weak moron. This is what they take African for. Africa is a dumping site. We can just go and dump everything we want. I think you're saying because African man is backward and corrupt and doesn't care about the other people in the country. This is so sad that is happening. Let me share a different video. This is in South Africa. Let me share this video as well so that you get to see what I'm talking about. The problem is not only in Kenya. The problem is everywhere in Africa. It is everywhere in Africa. In South Africa, in Uganda, in some places of Tanzania. And it is so sad. And it is, you even go to the beach, you look at the beach, it's so dirty, you're like, what is wrong with even people? I even have a problem with people who go dumping shit on the ground all the time. If you're not able to take up the environment that is around you, how will you be able to take care of the environment that is around everyone else? It means that now it's so bad, and this is why sometimes you see even the nature is punishing us, the environment. If you don't take care of the environment, sometimes nature becomes so angry at you. It is so bad. But anyway, let me share this video so that I can share an article of what we are talking about.
Johannesburg's landfill site are bulging with plastic waste. Few residents of South Africa's most populous city bother to separate their rubbish going through the trash invaluable. For many, this is their only source of income.
And neighboring around this landfill site, then you get complaints from people. It is a real problem.
Whole Earth reads to residents. If they collect all their various recycling in a dedicated plastic bag, the company will sort it for them at the recycling centre. Manager Carmen Jordan says informal recycling at landfill poses health hazards to the pickers.
If we can stop using non-recyclable plastics in our packaging material, and if we can encourage more people to start recycling, we will have a better rate of recycling.
The conference is being held in South Plastic Production and Waste. Campaigners say the event's necessary to pressure decision makers to engage with the problem.
Happening everywhere. But let me go back to my article. International delegates have convened in Kenya in the hopes of making further progress towards a landmark treaty to fight global plastic pollution. Addressing the first day of the talks in the capital, Nairobi, on Monday, Kenyan President William Ruto said that it is running out to reach a deal before the end of 2023, a deadline set in March of last year. And I urge, this is what he said, I urge all negotiators to recall that 2024 is only 6 away and there are only 2 other meetings to go. The meeting is taking place at the headquarters of the UN Environmental Program as leaders try to address a scourge of pollution resulting from more than 400 million metric tons of plastic waste produced each year. Do you think that this is going to help or fight the plastic pollution in Africa? The fact that we've had UN is involved in that, don't wait for any solution. Don't wait for any solution once again. The UNEP says less than 10% of plastic waste is recycled, and the International Union of Conservation of Nature said at least 14 million metric tons of it makes a way into world's oceans. Progress has been slow at previous summits, and delegates in Nairobi will have to decide between a wider focus on production and life cycle of plastic or a more limited emphasis on waste management. Do you think this is going to work again? We have not been having the waste management for the longest time, and this is why we have piled up, or we have such dumping sites even in the capital of the country. Karibu sana Nashville, and hi to you too. And countries such as Kenya have advocated for a firmer and more binding agreement, where else the powerful plastic industry and petrochemical suppliers such as Saudi Arabia have pushed for a more limited approach. More than 2,000 delegates are attending the meeting, including representatives from oil and gas industry, environmental organization, and civil society groups. The vast majority of countries are eager to advance the negotiations to get the job done, said Pamela Miller, co-chairperson of International Pollutants Elimination Network, a global public interest group. On the other hand, a small group of like-minded countries of mainly major fossil fuel, petrochemical, and plastic exporters like Saudi Arabia and Russia are actively attempting to take us backwards, she said. So, guys, do you think we are going to get the solution again? We are not. We are not going to help ourselves in that situation, because if you're signing deals with the same people who are dumping this, this garbage on your grounds, do you think that you're going to help us? Here also in Kenya, the plastic bags were outlawed, but go everywhere. They are everywhere right now. The plastic bags were outlawed. When was the plastic bags outlawed? Let me tell you, even in Kenya, the plastic bags were outlawed. Kenya banned the use of plastic carrier bags in 2017, prompted by environmental and health costs. And at the time, more than 100 million single-use plastic bags were handed out every year, making them the most commonly used carrier bags for shopping. That was in 2017. It was outlawed in 2017, but look at Kenya right now. Do you think that it is doing any better? No, because the government is not even strict about it. They were strict for the first 1 month, and then they forgot all about it. It is so crazy. But I see Keith is saying it is the same shit because the African man is weak and a moron. That is why it is in every African country. And you're saying you pollute where you live because you have no love or respect for yourself, Katie. That is the self-hate the Europeans put into the brains of African people. It is so sad. It is so sad. Sadly, the only country that has done anything about this plastic issue is Africa. In Africa is Despot Kagame. Well, I'm glad he has done this, but let me find out if there are no dumping sites in that country. Let me check. Let's see if we have no dumping sites in Rwanda, because also in let me see. Okay, let me show you, kid, what I'm looking at right now. Let me show you. Maybe it's only not happening in the city, but it is there. It is. Let me show you what I'm looking at right now. So this is it. Here, all this. Look at all this. Yes, it is in Rwanda. I'm telling you, this issue is everywhere in Africa. It is everywhere in Africa. It is not only happening in some cities or in the capital cities, but it is there. They might be carrying the garbage from the city to some villages that are still there, but it is still happening. Let me check, Akid. You want me to confirm the year? Let me check. 2023. Let me show you. Okay, that was in 2019. Let me check 2023. Here, the most recent one. This one. Look at this one. You see this one? This one is the most recent one. This one. Look at this one. Look at this one. You see this one? This one is in 2023. Or did I stop sharing my screen? Oh, you can't see. You can't see my screen. Let me share. Let me share my screen once again so that you can see what I'm talking about. Here. You see this one? This one is the most recent one. You see this one as well? Yes, it is happening. They are, Kagame, and I realized this. We praise Kagame so much because of the city. But look at the villages. What has he done for the villages? He has developed the city so much. And that is so good because he's blinding all of us to even go and look at now the outskirts of the city. The same thing that is happening, the only thing that now the opposite of what is happening in Rwanda is that Kenya, we have these dumping sites in the city. That's where everyone can see them. Because if you're coming to Nairobi and you happen to pass by those places, you'll see them. But look at Rwanda. You'll have to go to the outskirts of the city to see those places. Yeah, it is so bad and it is so sad that this is still happening in all African countries, and we have allowed this. We are being used as dumping sites. It was some other time I was discussing about which river was this? It was in the ocean, by the way. Some clothes coming from the UK being dumped on the beach, on the African beach. This is so bad. And I bet Africans, we can learn to take care of our environment by ourselves. We can just learn how to do it. Why can't we just ban these things? Why can't we just work right sometimes? Why can't just, this is the environment. It is the environment where you're eating, where you're getting food, but you don't want to take care of it. Sometimes we blame the government, of which this is its work. It should be creating a dumping sites for us. It should make sure that we have proper dumping sites where these waste materials are gotten and recycled. But since it has not done this, I bet we can do this as Africans. But anyway, I said the only thing that now is going to save us is going the Sri Lanka way, or a coup, or maybe the impeachment. As African countries, it's either a coup, impeachment, or the Sri Lanka way. That is the only thing we're left with as African people. I see Kid, you're saying, damn, Katie, that's fucked up shit. It is. It is. It is only hidden from our eyes because it's not in the city. But in Kenya, we are exposed to this shit because it is everywhere in the city. Even where we are, we have open sewer lines. When it's raining, they are full, and the dirty sewage water comes out. You step it all the time. So bad. And also you're saying exactly 100%, Katie, the villages are still fucked up in Rwanda. Exactly. It's the same shit. Also you're saying the puppets have allowed it, Katie, not you. This week as men who are corrupt and backwards, they have allowed it. They are allowing these people to come and dump shit in Africa all the time. Right now we are getting carbon credits and taking their carbon, taking their garbage and carrying it as our own just because we're getting carbon credits from these people. Do you think that makes sense? It doesn't make sense. But just because we are greedy and we want money, and our presidents, all they think is about getting money. Right now we are taking carbon credits as African country and taking that shit they call carbon emission as our own. It is so sad we are being paid to carry their baggage, and we allow this. But the only way that we are going to save Africa, cause impeachments, asanteni sana to all those who are with me, and thank you very much to all those who interacted. Samuel, asante sana. Kid, asante sana. Jeno Mosquito, asante sana. And to all those who are just joining us, please, if you're going to watch if you're going to if you're going to watch a replay of this, please make sure you smash the like button and you leave your comments below. So sad. But kwaherini, enjoy the rest part of your day. If you are able, catch us up later on the words of the streets. And kwaherini once again. Enjoy the rest part. I'm leaving you with this jam we started off the show with. This is Ivia. Enjoy.
Baby, you should know that I'm your one. Naikifika mwisho tena would rather red. So hata wakihepa ukweli, they should know that you're mine. That you're mine, that you're mine. And I ain't never letting you go. Oh, baby, you you should know that you're my light. Na ikifika mwisho then I'll be by your side. So hata wakihepa ukweli, they should know